I found myself a little over 300 pounds, right? And I'm only like, 5'11", right? It seemed like it happened out of nowhere, bro. I realized whatever we're trying to do in life, business, relationship, it's only gonna get as far as our bodies will take it, as far as our minds will take it, as far as our network will take it, right? The biggest thing that was holding me back was me, right? As a man in the mirror.
Welcome back to Movified. I'm your host, Mark Hershey, owner of Salmon's Moving and Storage, located in beautiful and sunny today, Vancouver, British Columbia. And we are super excited. I have known Greg for several years. We've had a couple one-to-ones, but not as intimate as today. So I'm pretty lucky. I mean, we worked out together once, but other than I think, watching him sweat doing a couple plates on a bench and then being embarrassed by my size of my arms. No, I don't want to get into it. No, I'm really happy to have Gregory Gray from Graceful Moves out in Texas. Greg, welcome to the show.
Appreciate it, Mark, man. Yeah, I'm happy to be here, bro. Like I told you before, the Movified has been killing it. I feel like I made it a little bit. I feel like I made it, man. I'm on a Movified podcast.
That's right. I love it. Well, you know what? I mean, you are someone that I've watched over the years, and I joked earlier about working out at the gym, but both of us and you before me were part of the Unstoppable 365 program, and it's always interesting. And I'm kind of skipping over some of the questions, but I always find it fascinating. It's in someone's mentality where we get comfortable, right? Like you get sucked into work. You're running a business. You're an entrepreneur, and one of the biggest parts in your life that you should be holding yourself accountable for, you don't. Right?
Yeah.
You're just
Wow.
like, dude,
Wow.
I'm running. It's like, hey, I'm just quickly jumping by In-N-Out Burger. Give me some Chick-fil-A. Like I'm too busy. I got to run here. And you're constantly just thinking in your head of, I'm too busy to keep myself healthy. So, but the business is thriving, but hey, tomorrow I'm going to have a heart attack. Hey, I'm not going to be there to see my kids grow up. Like, it's just all this crazy stuff. And sometimes when I look at individuals going like, dude, you probably have all the time in the world if you have that mindset. And you did. I've watched this transformation. Can you elaborate on this whole story of who Greg was circa, like, I don't know, when did we meet? About like 2 years ago to like where you are today? Because now I feel like I would lose to you on like an arm wrestling challenge or a push-up
I don't
challenge.
know, bro. I don't know. Your transformation has been phenomenal too. But yeah, bro. So we started off, me and my wife, maybe. So we met 2 years ago. It started off for me a little sooner than that. I would say about maybe like 3 years ago. Man, I realized whatever we're trying to do in life, right? If it's business, if it's relationship or whatever, we're trying to take something far, right? Grow something, build something. It's only gonna get as far as we can take it, as far as our bodies will take it, as far as our minds will take it, as far as our network will take it, right? And so it hit me that, the biggest thing that was holding me back in any area of life, whether it was relationship or business or what have you, it was me, right? As a man in the mirror. I knew I had to make some changes. I found myself a little over 300 pounds, right? And I'm only like, 5'11", right? So 5'11", a little over 300 pounds. And it seemed like, bro, Mark, it seemed like it happened out of nowhere, bro. Like when I first started the moving company,
That's what happens, man. That's what happens.
and then we think, because when I started on the truck, of course. And so I'm always active. And like you said, you're stopping here, getting fast food or what have you. And I think I was telling myself, well, at least I'm active, right? I'm on the truck. And there's some truth to that. But what was happening is, as a business owner, once you get off the truck, you're still at work, right? You're still going home. You're still working. You're running the business still. I guess with all the stress, the anxiety, all this different stuff, I would eat it away. You know what I mean? Like I would eat it away. And so, yeah, before you know it, bro, I was over 300 pounds. I knew I had to make some changes if I wanted to take things further. Like I said, it began to weigh on every aspect of life. I was afraid to network because I was a fat guy. You know what I mean? I was afraid to I was afraid to get on the camera because I was a fat guy, when I talk about depression and anxiety, um, a lot of that, I can't say all of it, right? A lot of that comes from bad eating, right? It comes from, listening to a lot of the wrong things, like all these different things. And so I began to believe that, and I began to make some changes. And so, first thing was, what did I do, man? I think I started doing, it was 75 hard. Chris Knowles out of with True Friends. True Friends out in Tennessee. He talked about 75 hard. I didn't know what it was. And when I looked into it, for everybody who don't know, 75 hard it's a challenge, a 75-day challenge where you have to drink a gallon of water, do 2 workouts a day. You gotta do 2 workouts a day. You have to eat clean, stick to any diet, no alcohol, and what else? What else? You know
And
what it
read.
is? And
You
read.
also have to
There it
read.
is.
Yeah.
You got to read 10 pages a day.
Yeah.
And man, I tried to just work out by myself, but for whatever reason, bro, challenges really do it for me. Competition really does it for me, right?
Same here.
And
Yeah.
so I did that challenge. I was afraid to do it, and so I kind of ran from it for about a month. And guess what? The reason why I was afraid to do it is because I didn't want to stop drinking. And so when I realized how much drinking had a hold on me, I don't like being controlled by anything. You know what I mean? And so when I realized drinking had such a hold on me, I'm like, you know what? Nah, I got to do it. You know what I'm saying? I got to do it. I can't be beat by this. And so I did 75 hard. And bro, I think I lost, and during 75 hard, I lost 30 to 40 pounds, right? 30 to 40 pounds. But more than that, bro, it was everybody's response. Remember, I told you I was afraid to get on camera. I was afraid to go to network. But bro, everybody's response was just like, Greg, like, look at you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was getting.
It's amazing, and congratulations on dropping that. I find it always fascinating as, and I'm just gonna call in general, like when you look, because I was just over 300 pounds as well too, going through, in COVID, and you kind of realize, man, geez, like you feel like the fat guy, right? The fat face, just everything else. I loved always drinking. I loved beer, right? Going out with friends, you're always having a couple drinks, and you realize that you just keep putting on weight, right? You're like that belt. You're like, oh, you know what? I'll stick away from the belt. Maybe you can just get those stretchy pants, right? But you automatically change those habits in your life. You cut out drinking. You start drinking way more water. You're adding some exercise into the program. And the first, I always say, like, at least the first 20 to 30 pounds, especially when you're at that heavy set, comes off so fast. It's the next 20 pounds afterwards that it becomes a totally different mindset, because you now have, okay, great, we've lost the weight, right? Like, I picture you and me, right? Like, we're both these 300-pound guys. You drop you're like, I feel so good, right? Like, this is fantastic. It's the same thing like when you are growing your business, and you finally bought those first trucks. You finally got that big sale, right? Oh, hey, I got my first client, and we have a couple clients, or my warehouse is finally full. Feels good. How am I maintaining it? How can I get to that next level? How am I going to elevate this where we actually are getting the six pack, where their definition is in my arms? Just because I lost that weight doesn't mean I'm defined, right? Like, I always love it. Dan Martell calls it the McLaren biceps, right? Like, when you have that vein, when you were looking fit, right, and in a body that's just like having the fancy car that's parked outside. Unfortunately, guys like Chris Knowles, and I bet you're listening to this, Chris Knowles, and I'm giving a shout out to you. This guy has the McLaren, and he has the bicep McLarens as well too. This guy knows how to do it well, and he does it great. So shout out to True Friends out in Tennessee, because Chris, as an entrepreneur, is someone that I also look up to, because I'm like, damn, all right, like, this is the goal.
If you're considering Snowball, just do it. Snowball creates done-for-you referral programs for moving companies so you can turn happy customers into new revenue without lifting a finger. And the results speak for themselves.
In less than a year, we've collected over 2,000 referrals.
We generated over $200,000 of revenue that cost about $5,000 to do it.
I believe we had 4 or 5 the very first day.
The companies winning with Snowball are the ones that already care about their customers. We just help turn that into new business through human outreach and customer nurturing.
Snowball is part of the arsenal of tools that I recommend to my clients because it works.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Your mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google. No one's gonna call. No one's gonna book. Here is the deal. If your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
So back to your story, Greg. Sorry to interrupt. We are down 30 pounds. We're looking at it. You're feeling committed. You do the 75 hard. How was the 75 hard for you, man? I think about 75 hard and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could, like, cause the fact on that one is there's no cheating.
No cheating.
Like one of my good friends, Josh Shipman from Coastal Carriers, he's done it and he'll be like, man, I got to 68 days and I just broke, or something happened, or I got sick at like 45 days. And it's not of this, you can't just be like, all right, cool, I did it for 40 days. I took a week off. I jumped in for the last 35. Like it is full on. So how did it feel? Like, I mean, what were some of the struggles going into the beginning?
So number one, bro, so I do 75 hard once a year now. Ever since that year, I do it once a year now, right? And the reason why I chose to do it is because it's the hardest challenge I've ever done. My first time doing it, to get to your question, I didn't do it in 75 days. It took me 138 days. You know what I'm saying? It took me 138 days because to what you're saying, yeah, if you mess up during 75 hard, you got to start from day one. And so I think the first time, man, I think I made it to like, let me go back a little bit. 75 hard reveals all your weaknesses, bro. Like it will expose you, and then the fact that I was public with mine, right? I was posting online, showing each day. It was like extra accountability. And so just imagine, man, I got guys in my DMs asking, how do you lose weight? What did you do here? What did you do there? Right. These are people who see me as the fat guy. Right. So, they're currently there and they're like, I'm motivating to them. And so they're seeing all of my growth and all of my posts on 75 hard and all that stuff. And so, yeah, when I failed, the first time I failed because, so you have to do 2 workouts. One of the workouts have to be outside, right? I called myself being on top of everything, my schedule and all that stuff. So I literally wrote down, what time and, what time I would do my workouts and where I'll do them. And I literally planned on both workouts being at my home gym, then another one being at my gym by my job. So I literally planned on both workouts being inside. I set myself up and I failed. And it wasn't until the next morning, I'm in the middle of my workout. I'm thinking about the day before and I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like I did both workouts inside yesterday. I failed. And this was like day 10. And I was so afraid.
You have to start again.
Yeah, I had to start again. And the thing is, but it exposed something of me. Like, I'm like, okay, either I can like keep this between me and me because no one really knows, you know what I'm saying?
Me and the man above, right? Yeah, you're like,
and just keep this going, or I gotta be honest about it. And what made it tougher is not only was I doing it, but my wife was doing it. And my wife finished the first 75 days. You know, there was no messing
Of
up
course
with
they
her.
do. Of course they do.
Right. So
I
it
love it.
took so much humility to go to her and say, you know, baby, I failed. You know what I mean? I got to start from scratch. But more going online and telling everybody I failed. I got to start from scratch. Right. But you know, again, it showed a weakness, right? I made a schedule to do both workouts inside, and apparently I didn't pay attention, right? So it was like, okay, Greg, can you? It showed me weaknesses in other areas of my life, right? I do that where I'll quickly plan something and not pay attention to the details, and so it made me better, right? To admit that and start from scratch and learn my lesson. The next time I did it, so you have to take one picture every day, right? And the next time I did it, yeah, bro, I made it all the way to day 54 and I forgot to take a picture.
Oh man, no.
Bro, I'm like, no way. I went, one of my buddies, he's a Marine, and we're in the middle of a ruck. And I told him, he was like, bro, forget that. It's just a picture. Just keep going. I'm like, bro, I can't, man. I wouldn't feel right if I finished this. You know what I mean? And I wasn't honest about it. So anyway, day 54, didn't take a picture. I had to start from day one again. Third time around. But bro, so technically I did 138 days. I lost 30, only lost, I'm not gonna say only, I lost 30 pounds, but I put on a nice bit of muscle. And but like you said, and I'll let you, get back into this, but it's one thing to lose at 40 pounds, right? It's a whole nother thing to go beyond that and to maintain it. That's a completely different story.
Whew. I can only imagine myself. It's like not the workout. It's not that I forgot to drink the water. It's not that I forgot to read. I forgot to take one photo.
One
It
photo,
takes a
bro.
lot. It takes a lot. It shows character. It shows the integrity that you have. And it also transfers into your business. Give me a little bit of some juice with graceful moves. Like, I also want to shout out to your wife. Before we want to carry on to the business, shout out to her for doing the 75 hard with you. You know, a lot of partners are going to be like, all right, man, love you. Good luck. I want to see you on this journey, but I'm going to go do Pilates. I'll go do some yoga. Like, I don't know if I could have that in me as well too. And she killed it. She did the 75 hard, and that's amazing. And that shows this love that she has for you to want to do something together, not knowing your wife, but I can just see it, and see that love. And also, it's something that you also can be proud of for her, but she should be proud of herself for that accomplishment because it's not easy.
100%. Yeah. So Shauna Gray, that's my wife. Shauna Gray, shout out her, bro. Honestly, my wife is extremely supportive when it comes to fitness, business, just about any of these things. So, one thing a lot of people don't know about me is we have 6 kids, right?
Wow.
Yeah, my wife homeschools those 6 kids. And through all that, she still finds time to get involved with, networking events I go to. We're at the gym together, different things like this. And so she a real Wonder Woman when it comes to stuff like that, honestly. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. And I mean that, bro. Like, it's not, I hear a lot of stories of men just, oh, my wife won't follow me, or, my wife won't do. I don't have that issue, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a matter of fact, when it comes to, fitness and just, personal growth in general, my wife follows me so much. It's almost like it's a good and bad thing, because when I'm on point, then I know my wife and my kids are going to be on point, right? My whole family, like, they are my kids, the kids at my kids' school. So they do a co-op, right? So a couple days at home, couple days at school, right? They think that they call us the military family. They think we're some type of Navy SEAL family. My kids are up at like 5 a.m. They're in a garage, getting their workouts in, like, real different in that respect. I mean, you look at their bodies, it's great shape, and they love it, right? They're really into it. And all of that turned on, and I hope someone can catch something from this. All of that turned on when I changed, right? When I changed and I began to take my fitness and my life more serious, it trickled down onto my wife, and it trickled down from her onto our children. And so, yeah, the downside is that when I suck, you know what I mean? Like, when I'm not on my stuff,
They're
then
on
my
you.
wife tends to chill too. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like if I say, hey, let's have the muffins, she'll say, forget it, let's have 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, so So yeah, I gotta, I do gotta stay on top of my stuff.
Shout out to Shauna. Shout out to your kids too. I've talked about it on the show several times. We've my wife and I, we used to foster. We've had up to 6 kids in our home as well too. And like you're saying, people from the outside are always like, don't know how you do it. Like, how do you manage having a company and you have all these kids and and you and your wife are still so in love and you guys still go on trips and do all these kind of things. And it's really, to me, about, I mean, we didn't homeschool, so like shout out to you guys, because that just sounds horrible when I think about it. But you think about it, and it's really about front loading. It's about having structure within your home, and that will also transpire into your business. If you have proper structure in your business will thrive. If you have structure at home, your family and at home life will thrive as well too. My kids watch me. When I walk into the door in the morning, it is usually 5 to 7 after leaving the gym, maybe 10 to 7. And if it's my oldest or my middle that is up, they're usually in the kitchen. I've taught them how to, they're 7 and 4. They know how to get their bowl. They know how to get breakfast going. They know how to make oatmeal. They know, hey, you know what? Maybe dad's coming from the gym. They'll have like the Vitamix blender kind of ready to go. They know all the stuff we need to make a protein shake. And, but they see me coming home from the gym. Right? Like when I work out at home, or I'm going to do push-ups at home, they're there to do push-ups with me. If I want to do a walk outside, they want to do that. I'm always like, we always joke in front of the mirror, like, who's got the 6-pack? Who's got
Come
the
on.
bigger arms, right? But like, it's one of those things that my kids are going to see what I'm doing. They're going to see what my wife is doing. They want to be like us. Right. And if they see us wanting to get fit, hell yeah, man. Like, I mean, get out there, right? Let's go. Let's, hey, call us a military family, but you know what? Our family is a tight unit.
Let's go.
Right. And
Yeah.
let's go. Right. So it's, I love it. Okay. Back to 2015. All right. We got this moving company. This is a podcast about moving. All right. So let's chat a little about this. I mean, how did it start? What made you want to get into moving? You and your wife kind of did it together to kind of get things started. Like, tell me a little bit about this. Were you guys already having kids? How old are your kids right now?
Yeah. So so we had 3 kids at the time. Right now we have 16. So we're a blended family, right? My wife had 1 daughter already. I had 2 boys. So we have 16, our oldest daughter, right? Then we have our boy collectively, right? We have he's 16 as well. Then we have 15. And then so that's the first 3. Again, she had 1 by herself, and then I had my 2. And then we had our next 3 together, right? So we have a 9-year-old, we had a 6-year-old, and then we have a 2-year-old.
Okay. So you know how it is with the 2-year-old and the 6-year-old.
Oh man.
You got it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, so 2020 or 2015, what got me into moving? So it wasn't with, I guess with moving, it was moving always came easy for me. You know what I mean? I mean, if it was family, friends, anybody that's moving, I was for sure the guy that they were going to call to come out and help them out. I can't say I loved it, honestly. Like, I wasn't like, oh yeah, like, call me, I'm Mr. Mover. However, I did show signs like early on of being, of just having that entrepreneurial heart and spirit, right?
Are you a mover looking to make an impact? Discover Moving Letters AI and join the ML Plus Club today. Elevate your customer engagement with the personal touch of handwritten letters.
If you want to take your company to that next level, it's the only way to subscribe. If you're doing anything but Moving Letters AI, you need to get on it. So it's going to take your business to that next level. You're going to see an increase in that revenue. Let's go.
I highly recommend using this company. They're amazing to work with. They even send you an email on how much work they're producing for you.
Don't miss out. Join the revolution and start making moves that matter.
Put a golden damn ticket in there with Moving Letters AI.
Hi, I'm Mark Hershey with Salmon's Moving and Storage. Today, I want to talk about Tighten Up training. Why? Because this is Netflix grade quality training. It's not those old videos and VHSs that you got hiding in your office somewhere. It's online, it's easy to use, they're short videos, but they get to the point. My new employees, these guys run through these training programs. There's tests at the end, and they're coming out going, oh, I'm ready to rock. So if you haven't checked out Tighten Up Training yet, get a demo done. Get on board. Guess what else is there? Online portals for my sales staff. Can you believe it? These guys can learn how to overcome objections and book more leads today. So what are you waiting for? Go check out Tighten Up Training today.
And, you know, since I was a kid, I was the kid that started the little lawn service, right? The candy store, you know, I grew up in California originally. And so, you know, extreme sports was really big out there. So we had the skateboard crew that I started. We had the biker crew, the BMX crew I started, like all that stuff. You know what I mean? And so I was always about, you know, bringing people together, building teams, you know, in love with seeing things grow from the bottom up. You know, both of my parents, they're both entrepreneurs, right? And so I guess it's always been in my heart to do it, and always desired to do it. Matter of fact, my pops, man, my dad, he had a real hard time with me when like whenever he would buy me bikes or anything, right? I always found a way, like he'll buy me something, I'll sell it. You know what I mean? Or
With a profit.
with a profit. Yeah. It was all profit for me.
Of course.
So
Oh, that's
anyway,
funny.
and it went from that to me buying things, right? I would go buy something for low. I'll go buy bikes for low and go, you know, sell it for profit. So it was always in my heart to be an entrepreneur. When it came to moving, I was working at a store here, a tennis store in Houston. And I'm like, man, you know, I had just got married, and we had our 3 kids. We're living in an apartment complex. And I had to do something more, bro. So you know, not to get too deep into my past, but I didn't have a whole bunch of education. I had a GED, right? No college. So you know, dropped out of high school. So it wasn't, I was limited in the things that I can do, but I had a whole lot of drive, you know, a whole lot of vision, right? And I had this real charismatic personality, you know what I mean? And so
You had the hustle. You had the
I had that hustle, I had that grind,
That's
you
right.
know? And so I knew that this job wasn't going to take care of my family on the level I wanted it to. And I had a buddy there named Patrick McCarver. He is actually one of my first sales guys. But I'm like, man, like, what can I do? Like, what type of, you know, business can I start? He did moving. He worked for a guy who did moving for U-Haul on moving help. I don't know if you guys got that there in Canada.
Yeah, we got something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so he told me about moving help, where you don't need a truck, you don't need much of anything, right? And so I'm like, you know what? That it seems like that's easy enough. And so so I jumped on the moving help, bro. I began to look through through all the reviews, looked at my competition, and you know, I felt like, you know, I was better than those guys, bro. I was like, I felt like I can get on here and I can kill it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, a little, you know, I kind of, you know, I was feeling myself. And so yeah, I took $500, bro. I went down to New Haven, moving equipment here in Houston. And I went down there and I asked the guy there, I'm like, bro, I want to start a moving company. What equipment do I need? He's like, bro, you at least need a dolly. You got to get you a toolkit. You gotta, you know, you need some blankets and a 4-wheeler. So I bought a bundle of pads, bought a toolkit, bought a dolly and a 4-wheeler. And I went home and I continued working my job. I finally got I would only open my schedule for the weekend. And so I would do moving on the weekend while I'm working a tennis store. When I made enough money and things were rolling enough, and basically when it got to a point when I was taking calls on my on my job at the tennis store, and I felt like I couldn't honor both positions, I had a talk with my wife, and I told her, like, I mean, baby, I think it's time. I think it's time for me to leave this store, bro, and jump into moving, you know, full fledged. She was afraid of it. Afraid is an understatement, bro. She was against it. She was like, nah, like I don't know if that's gonna work out, but that was enough fire under my butt to get into it, bro, and hit the ground running. You know what I mean? My family was dependent on it.
Sometimes there's not a lot of security behind that, right? I mean, there's a lot of partners that are apprehensive because we are born and bred in society to follow in the sheep mentality. We go to school, we get the job, you know, this is our 401k, you know, okay, great, we got healthcare, like just whatever the situation is, you have this comfortable Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 kind of job. You know that there's a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. Happy life, happy wife. This is, you know, your day's over. Boring. right? Like, just I'm not into it. That's not how society should be, and the rich get richer and we just sit at the bottom, right? So when you can take the leap of faith, I always say go for it, right? I mean, fear is just a thought, but you need to take that leap and be and have it in your heart, right? Like, just you have to be committed. Just because you want to do it, like, you have to be ready to make it rock.
100%. And Mark, bro, you know, I knew, I've been doing, I knew I was an entrepreneur, right? I knew, and it's more than entrepreneurship for me, bro. Like it's about people. It's about, building people up, giving people opportunity. Like that was, you know, that was my real drive. As a matter of fact, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian. When I got into the moving, like, it was one thing to start the company, but it was more for me. Like I wanted to do it as a ministry at first. Right.
Oh, okay.
And that was the original goal. I wanted to, like, it was a prison. I wanted to do it as a prison ministry where guys would get out of prison. I can give them a job. I
I
wouldn't
love that.
recommend that to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, ah, that was really hard to justify to customers, letting them know that it's
You mean you
criminals
couldn't just
inside.
do all background checks on everybody?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that was so however, but that was my heart, right? And
Right.
and so when I
Is
began
that
to
where
when I began
Graceful came into play? Graceful
that's exactly,
moves?
yeah. Come on. Yeah, that's exactly where it
Okay.
came from. Yes, sir.
Love that.
And so, but I mean, it's that heart is still there where I want my team to win. You know what I mean? I want my team, I want to, be able to provide opportunity for these guys to reach their goals within my company, and so the point is, like, I knew that I was destined for more, great. Like even where I'm doing right now, and this is not it. You know what I mean? I'm called to higher, I'm called to more. And that's ultimately what I'm chasing. And so, yeah, I mean, I was afraid to take that leap as well. I was afraid to leave the job and start the company. It was actually a lady who told me, she asked me, she's like, she been asking me, Greg, why are you still here? I see you on the phone, you're booking moves. She's like, why don't you just leave and go full throttle, right? Go 100% into Graceful Moves. And I was like, well, I don't know if it's God's will. And she tested that, bro. She said, I don't think she said, are you sure you don't know it's God's will, or are you just afraid? You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I never really thought about it. And I was like, afraid, like, why would I be afraid? She's like, maybe you're afraid of failure, right? Maybe you're afraid of, whatever. But it was afraid of failure that got me, right? I literally got in the car, and I never told nobody this, bro. I literally got in the car with my wife. I
Don't
told her
worry,
that.
we won't tell anybody.
Yeah. Hey, I came on here and I said, I'm gonna be super real, super authentic with you guys. But bro, I got in the car with my wife and I'm like, I told her what the lady name was Miss Lee. I told her what Miss Lee said, and bro, I broke down and cried. I'm like, because what I realized is that fear of failure didn't just hold me back from going full throttle on this moving company. It's held me back from a lot of stuff, right? And so even though I knew that small whisper was always telling me, like, Greg, you're destined for more. You can do more. You can do more. But it was just fear of failure. You know what I mean? That was holding me back. And I'm like, no more. I'm not letting it hold me back no more. You know what I mean? So yeah, I went in full throttle in Graceful Moves. And bro, it's been honestly, our first 3-4 years have been just 3-4 years, like, consistent growth. You know what I mean? It was like, I would say up to 2021, we grew anywhere from 30 to 50% year over year, each year up to that point. Yeah, it almost, and look, there was no blueprint. It was just a lot of grind and providing phenomenal customer service, bro. Phenomenal customer service. One of my guys asked me, bro, what did you do to grow so fast, like to get so, and I'm like, I told him, like, bro, honestly, it's just, say what you're going to do what you say. You know what I mean? This is a customer centric business. Like, just make everything about the customer, provide phenomenal customer service. That's all I really had, bro. I don't think it's a whole lot to it. You know what I mean? When you're first starting, it just provides, like, great customer service, and everything else will pay for itself.
I mean, that all sounds fun. Again, I'm just playing the devil's advocate, right? I mean, I also agree with you. Customer service is huge. It can get you out of any spot. I always say, if you show clean cut and you're nice and personable to a customer, that nice person that just put a scratch in the wall, a customer might go, "Ah, don't worry about it. You've been such a pleasure."
That's
What,
true.
you showing that with attitude, you're showing that with like a chip on your shoulder, thinking that you know it all. Now you damage someone's wall. That customer's phoning the office right away, going, "Hey, there's a damage. I want this to be taken care of right away, and I also want a discount." And you that and then you just have to resolve that issue. But to me, we are in a customer service industry. The problem is that those customers are paying by credit card. There's expenses. I had to buy supplies. I have truck maintenance. I have truck insurance. I have workers' comp. I got payroll to think about. Oh, give me some of those hiccups, because you just made the first 4 years sound fantastic, but there's all of that on the back end that comes into play too. So what were some of the first struggles that you realize, oh man, what did I just get myself into?
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, it definitely wasn't all, as I say, Jolly Ranchers and Starburst, bro. It wasn't all sweet. It was definitely like the first 4 years we did see consistent growth. However, I think, if I can just name some of the biggest hiccups, you know, the first hiccup was so I remember I said we started with moving help, right? So we would do labor only service. And I was so anxious to hurry up and get into a truck. And so my 6 months into it, we bought our first truck, and I think we spent maybe $4,000 on our first truck. And I was so excited, bro. I was so excited. It was a 24-foot box truck, 26-foot box truck. Man, I think it was 24-foot actually. But yeah, the lift gate barely worked, and it didn't have a ramp. But I didn't care. I was happy, right? Well, our second job we did on that truck, the lift gate gave out on us. And the lift gate gave out. We went to go. I didn't have, I spent, I wasn't profiting much money. I didn't have the money just to go buy another lift gate, right? And so, man, for like 3 weeks straight, we were doing moves with no ramp, no lift gate, no nothing, bro. Like, bro, we were just
Straight deadlift, straight up.
exactly, bro. We were just lifting furniture on top of the truck, man, and we're just, making it happen. But here's the thing.
Oh, if you only knew that you could have picked up an aluminum gate for like less than $1,000 and drilled 2 holes, rivets in the back, and had hooks on a ramp, you could have just mounted the ramp, put the ramp in the back of the truck. You know what I mean? Like through those times, and then just hooked the ramp on
100%
to the back of your truck. You'd have been like, but yeah,
it's so much that now, when guys come and they want advice, I can just throw them so much advice, bro. But I guess that would be another thing. Like when you first start, you're naive. You don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? One of the most important things that anybody can do if you're just getting started in this industry is network. Get out there and meet more movers, meet more people. It'll save you from a lot of the BS that we've gone through. But yeah, about 2 weeks later, bro, my the motor on the truck went out. Okay. So for sure, I don't have any money to fix that. So we parked the truck on the side of our apartment, and it just started, accumulating parking tickets, and yeah. So we lost the truck. It got towed away. One of the most humbling experiences was going into that tow yard and getting all of my equipment out the back of that truck and walking into my blue Pathfinder and filling my blue Pathfinder up and going back to square one, where we're just doing labor only service. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so it was that, man. Right around 2017, I believe, I start hearing about Louis Massaro. He was talking a lot about knowing your numbers. Bro, I just couldn't figure out why the heck, bro. It seemed like we was making so much money, but I wasn't seeing none of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, where the hell is all of our money, bro? I see it coming in, but
checking your wife's purse, what's going on here, checking your kids, going underneath the mattresses of your kids. You're like, boys, like, where's this all this money?
Right on, bro. And so that was not knowing my numbers. That was another that was a big deal. And I can't say I've gotten my numbers dialed in completely, even still. But way better than where I was. Way better than where I was. So I went to a Louis Massaro conference. That was a major game changer for me. So yeah, just not knowing my numbers. That was I guess a major hiccup. And I think the next one, man, we had a customer who, bro, I don't know if anyone's ever been through this, but we had a customer and we had just started growing. We had our second truck. I was on one move. I trusted a crew to go do another move. And these guys went on a move, and I got a call that at this time I was just hiring people, bro, and just throwing them on a truck. I do not recommend that, bro, but I was just throwing people on the truck.
You look nice. Here's a t-shirt. Yeah.
Straight up, man. That's how it was. Like, you look like you can do this. You know, you said you're good. Here's a t-shirt. Go do it. And I would try to have my foreman, really look over him. Like, look after that guy when you go out there. Make sure this, and that.
Were you on the trucks at all during this time?
I was still on the truck. Yeah. So I was on the truck up until like truck 3. You know what I mean? Truck 3, I started kind of like getting off the truck. So we're at truck 2 now, and I'm getting calls like, bro, this guy is, all types of stuff, smoking on the job. This guy I call him about that. Like, bro, we can't smoke on the job. He has a bad attitude. He wants to play open music and it's foul language, like all types of stuff. Right. And I'm just calling this guy back and forth, like, bro, you can't do this. You can't do that. Da, da, da. And the last thing was, Greg, you're gonna have to come out here, bro. Like, we just got a damage. I'm like, what happened? They said the guy took the dolly down the stairs backwards with a washer on it. You know what I mean? These were like wooden stairs that he took down the stairs, or took a washer down backwards. So I had to leave my job. I show up and come to find out, bro, this guy had damaged the stairs. These are like hardwood floor stairs. So that I'm super expensive. Damaged the stairs. The washer was damaged, apparently. A TV got damaged. It was a move where, bro, I end up paying the customer for this move, right? And at this time, I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one like this, but we don't go through our insurance, right? When it comes to claims, I just didn't go through insurance. And I told the guy that, bro, you keep all your money and we'll pay you an additional $500. And he was okay with that because he just so happened to be a contractor. And he was like, I can fix get my stairs fixed and, all that. And so, man, yeah, from that though, I learned the importance of training, having a proper onboarding process. And for me, man, I learned pretty quickly. Like, I don't have to go through a whole bunch for me to finally be like, okay, it's, I got to put something in place for this. I got to put something in place for that. So yeah, we got to, that made me, put a nice onboarding process on and make sure we didn't run into that issue no more.
Well, I'll let you in on a little secret. You're not the only one. That happens to a lot of us in the industry. And I know there's a bunch of men and women that are probably listening to this, nodding their heads, being like, been there, done that, I've had that happen. And more than once, right? That's sometimes our worst attributes, is that we know the issue, we know the problem, and it's the 26th to 27th, it's the end of the month, and some of us have the guy come back tomorrow after he's done this, because you're like, I don't have anybody else. I need to go out on this. He needs to go back on this job. I mean, hopefully you don't, and you're learning your lesson pretty quick and you have these kind of things implemented. But there are a lot of business owners out there that will go and fall into the same shit next month. They're just like, why did this happen again? Why do I have this claim? And I'm proud of you that when you see the issues, you turn around and go, we need to implement this. This needs to change. We need training. We need a proper onboarding. And we need to find a solution to avoid this in the future, right? That we need to make sure there's floor runners put down. We need to make sure that they're moving the furniture correctly. How are the TVs being boxed? What kind of experience does this mover, this helper have before they even going on the truck? I mean, I've had it where the guys have, I did a half an hour training and a quick, hey, this is how you drive a 5-ton truck. Let's drive around the block. It's great. To, oh, we backed in and we hit the overhang of an underground parking and damaged the entire sign, all within one day. And you get the whole saying, but I've been a mover for the last 5 years. I've driven a 5-ton truck so many times. It's the first time anything like this ever happened. You know, why didn't you get someone to back you up? Why did you back into this building? You know, all of those kind of things. And you go, okay, well, maybe we should install backup cameras. Maybe we should have a little bit more of a driving test before our guys go out on the truck and see. Maybe we should have a little bit more meetings with our helpers to say, hey, listen, just because the driver says, don't worry, guys, I got this, doesn't mean you shouldn't get out of the truck and go, let me back you up. And then tell the driver, hey, can you make sure you roll down your window too when you're backing up the truck? Like sometimes you just shake your head going, well, I still hit something. Well, that's because your window wasn't open and the guy's yelling at you, telling you to stop, stop, stop. And you don't hear it because the music's going on in the cab. Man, we can go on and on with these kind of stories. It's crazy. Okay. So you've implemented this. You see what's going on. I mean, we look at today, you have a solid game that's going on. You have over 400 likes on even just on Facebook. You have killer reviews that are pumping in. You're offering it you're offering your services in multiple cities in Texas. I mean, where has Graceful Moves, where it came from, you know, where you're doing the courses, you're implementing these things to today? It's 2025. How many trucks are you operating?
Yeah, so we're operating 5 trucks. We can get up to, during the busy season, up to 8. We're gonna blow past that this year. The thing about it, I want to say in 2022, you said that was like one of your best years, right? That was one of our worst years. 2022 was our worst year. So 2022, we were hitting crazy numbers. 2021, post COVID, COVID went out, what, 2021? It began to kind of go away.
Yeah, it tinkled away by 2022. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, things were phenomenal for us during COVID and shortly after. But right around 2022, I think everybody, you know, if you got any Texas listeners, everybody in Texas, you know, you can understand what I'm saying. Right around 2022, our housing market just began to just crash, right? And at this time, this is actually when I began to, you know, really get into personal development. You know what I mean? Because we depended on the market so much, I guess. You know what I mean? We depended on the market to kind of create our economy and our growth. And I wasn't doing a lot of stuff on social media. I wasn't, like I told you, I was running from a camera. I wasn't doing any networking. I was afraid of networking, right? I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was just trusting our Google PPC, our SEO, right? Our Yelp. I was trusting all of that stuff. But I would venture to say that the guys who did really well when things began to kind of crash are the guys who was utilizing social media and building those good relationships with realtors and brokers, right? I wasn't one of those guys. So, bro, we took a major crash during 2022 where we're on track to do, is it okay to say numbers on here?
Yeah, go for it. People want to know.
Yeah. So yeah, we were like I'll say 2028, we're like at 1.8. And we were like at 1.8. No, I'm sorry. 2.2 in 2021, right? We were on track. I'm sorry. No, I got to get that right. So we were 1.8. Our goal was 2.2, but based on our numbers, we're on track to do 2.4 at the beginning of 2022. And, but right around September where things begin to kind of slow down anyway.
What's up, guys? Austin Yarbrough here, and this is your invitation to the Movers and Shakers event, April 28th, April 29th. I'm putting in the work right now so you can have the best event of your life. It's gonna be life-changing, it's gonna be amazing, and I'm just gonna be there to help, and you're gonna join the new family. This next family is here for you, and you're gonna be here for them. April 28th, April 29th, get your tickets, let's go.
It didn't just slow down, bro. It was like a complete halt. Like, I mean, it was scary. It was really scary. I'm thinking that, you know, bro, did somebody, you know, hack our leads, or, you know, is there another movement coming out there taking our leads? Like I didn't know what was going on. And I was, you know, there was nothing I can tell my team. There was just, man. And my team just started, you know, and by this time we had bought a new office, we had bought new trucks, we had took on all this extra debt. And I'm just like, I'm thinking it was the right thing to do. I wasn't paying attention to the fact that what's happening during COVID is gonna change. It's gonna slow down. No, I'm thinking like we're on fire. We're gonna stay on fire. We're gonna keep on going up. Well, we took a crazy crash. So look, that year when we were on track to do 2.2, we finished the year at 1.8 again, matching the previous year, right? In 2023, it went down more. We did 1.5, and this is when I began to get on the phone with guys like, bro, like I need help. Like what?
Sure, yeah. What's happening?
What's happening? Yeah. And this is when I began to take hard looks in the mirror, like, Greg, what are you not doing? And not to go back, but that's when I start reading more books, doing more, taking my fitness more serious, getting in front of the camera, all these different things. So it made me into a better man, but nothing changed on my numbers.
What was some of the main pivotal points that you took? Because I look at some of the social media stuff that you're doing now, and I always get a good chuckle because I'm always looking at the guy wearing the black t-shirt that says the other guys, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah.
movers, and that whole skit, which is which I love. I think it's great, and continue doing that because it really kind of gives you insight of who Graceful is as opposed to the other guys. That's great. But what were some of those pivotal moments during those phone calls and conversations that you were having with other guys in the industry and gals that made you go, okay, like this, I need to change this right away?
Sure. Yeah, I like it. One was with Wade Sweikel, right? Wade said he had made a comment. Wade said, he said, you have to choose your own economy, right? And that was so powerful to me. I'm like, choose your own economy. That was just next level thinking to me at that time, right? Like, there's no excuses. You can't blame it on the housing market. You can't blame it on leads, right? He's like, you got to choose. And the only way you can choose your own economy is like, Greg, you got to get uncomfortable again. You got to turn that grind on that you had when you first started, right? And you got to do something different that it also do things that you haven't done before, right? So I like to say, the things that got you here won't get you there, right? And so you're gonna have to start doing some new things you haven't done before. So that's what got me in front of the camera, right? Got me going to networking events. I had to create my own economy. You know what I mean? The next thing was, there was a book I read. I can't remember what it was right now, but it was simple, right? Just start talking about how, your surrounding, the people you're networking with, right? Is really important. It's going to determine like just kind of how you think and what have you. And so, I began to think about all the people that I want to be like, right? Or at least I don't say I want to be like them, but they're at a place I want to get to. And Chris Knowles was one of those people, right? And so I reached out to Chris Knowles, and the first thing I asked Chris is like, I'm like, can I shadow you, man? I want to fly out there, and I just want to shadow you. You know what I mean? I got to be a better leader. And so it started off, we didn't do that immediately. It started off with just phone calls. And so he became like a mentor to me. You know what I mean? He just became, teaching me, and it helped me with mindset. It helped me also not to, when you have issues, he taught me like, not to blow it up. So Greg, what you're going through right now isn't new. There's guys who've been where you are and worse and have made it out of it. You know what I mean? He shared with me some of his stories, and it encouraged me to just take a look at my situation differently and get me through the point, or get me through that time. So I guess those are like a few pivotal moments, you know what I mean, that I had during that time that really, really got me through.
Yeah, and before that, I mean, your color scheme was like, I think, orange and white, and then you start hanging out with Chris Knowles. Everybody ends up turning into the royal blue. Everybody goes into the blue. No, I'm joking.
Nah. But however, though, I did, when I seen Chris, it did tell me, I'm like, hey, maybe I'm onto something here with the royal blue. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So no,
But you also but I love the fact that you've also, especially when it comes to social media, you have now taken a page out of, other guys like Austin that are trying to build a brand for themselves with your own Facebook page or your own Instagram page, and have that as like a leadership tool for others is what which was what I'm noticing, which I'm seeing, come out from, your experience, whether it's in health, whether it's in business, that mindset. Tell me like what the benefits for those that are listening going, oh, I'm thinking about doing that. What are the benefits that you found by documenting that a bit more, by showcasing who you are, what you're doing, and getting
Mm.
yourself more comfortable in the camera has changed for your business?
Yeah. So first out, big shout out to Austin, bro. Like, so I said right around 2022, 2023, when things got really bad for me, and I told you I started reaching out to guys. Austin was one of the main people, one of the first people at least persons that I reached out to, and he was just there, give me loads of game to make it through. It wasn't a whole bunch on social media, but just other things. But watching watching Austin change the game as for me, and I think for a lot of guys in the industry as it relates to social media, and teaching you ways to streamline it and all that stuff. But yeah, social media, it helped me. So remember I told you I didn't network a whole lot, right? It opened the door for network opportunities. That was the biggest thing I seen, because you can't be in front of every realtor all the time, right? But you kind of can if you're killing it on social media. You know what I mean? Like if you're killing it on social media, you're boosting the right post, right? And you're targeting the right areas. And you're getting your stuff in front of those realtors. I remember the time I was doing a sales meeting. One of my main sales guys, Ryan, Ryan told me the move concierge, right? He told me you need to no, he was like, bro, have you seen the amount of referrals we've been getting from realtors? And this is before I actually started doing like lunch and learns or any of that stuff. And I'm like, no. And I looked into it, and I just began to reach out to some of those realtors. And I mean, damn near every single realtor was telling me like, oh yeah, I got your information from social media. I seen you on social media. And it was almost like even a lot of customers began to call in. I remember talking to one guy, and he's like, as soon as he heard me on the phone, I was taking the sales call. He's like, hey, wait, are you the guy that do all the videos on social media? I'm like, yeah. It was almost like I was famous to this guy. You know what I mean? And so yeah, that social media, it helped me, get in front of more realtors, more brokers, more customers, and opened the door. I started getting invites to do more lunch and learns and different things like that.
If you could go back to 2015 to your younger self, what would be, I don't know, give me 2 or 3 key conversations and tools or tips that you'd want to have with yourself, that you would recommend to tell to anybody that was like, in that same struggling situation, working a job, thinking I doing some moving, I want to kind of break out into my own. I have that sense of fear, failure, but I really want to do this. I have somewhat of support from my family. What are you going to say?
First thing I say is make sure you're taking care of yourself, right? Yeah, during that time, make sure you take care of yourself. Again, your business, your company is only going to get as far as you can take it, right? So, if you're limited in knowledge, information, because you're not reading books, or you're not networking, or you're not going to these different events, right? If you're not doing this stuff, then you're limited. You know what I mean? You can only do, you don't know what you don't know, right? So take care of yourself, become the best version of yourself so you can help your company become the best version of itself, right? So that's one thing I would say. Second thing, it would be, it would be to, whatever you do, give it 100%, right? Give it 100%. Don't think you got to do a whole lot of things at once, right? Trying to multitask and, spreading yourself too thin, because, you want to, every shiny thing, you want to chase after it. You're just slowing down the process. And more than that, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting your team, all tight. You got to think about it. Like the guys that's on your team, even if they don't say it, they're depending on you, right? And the quicker you can become your best version and build your company to become its best version, the quicker these guys have an opportunity for more opportunity, if that makes sense. And so, don't go after everything, every shiny thing. Focus in, lock in, right? If it's local services, local moves that you're doing, household goods, become, the best fucking local mover ever, right? That should be the primary focus, right? Nothing else. Then go to the next thing. Go to the next thing after that. The last thing I would say is, for me, I'm sure a lot of guys said a lot of different things, but again, I had a big family. When I first started, I didn't pay myself. You know what I mean? I didn't, they say profit first, right? I didn't, everything I did out, it depends on your situation, but for me with a family, every dime I got went back into the company. We didn't take any trips. We didn't do anything. It was like a lot of, everything was moving. Everything was business. And that may sound good to the hustle culture guys out there, but no, you have to take time to enjoy the fruits of your labor at times, because that's what gives you the energy to get back to it, maybe after that weekend, after that vacation, or whatever the case may be. So, make sure you're taking care of yourself financially, not in a way where it hurts the company, of course. Then also make sure you're taking care of yourself in a way where, you're getting, taking vacations, you're taking the wife out, you're doing date nights, you're doing all these different things, because that's what you're able to sit back, and
the recharge.
Recharge. There you go. You're able to recharge and get back to it. So that's the three things I would give.
I like it. Good job, Greg.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Buddy, I feel like we dug into a lot. We hit the surface on so much that hopefully all those that are listening are going, give me more.
Yeah.
More will have to come up for another day, because we have run out of time. I don't want to make it so that people think these turn into a Joe Rogan 2.5 hour podcast episode. We want to keep it nice and tight. But this has been great. I'm so happy that we had this opportunity to sit down and chat. We were talking before, we're probably going to talk afterwards. And for, those that are listening, those that are watching, and you have questions for Greg and for Graceful Moves, I'm going to say it, reach out to him. Follow him on Instagram. Follow his company and his own self. What's your handles?
Yeah, so on Instagram is going to be official Gregory Gray, and on Facebook it's official Gregory Gray CEO. Official Gregory Gray CEO.
Oh, okay. All right. Make sure you got that CEO after the end of it. You don't want those fake accounts.
I think official Gregory Gray was taken on Facebook.
That's right. That's funny. That's awesome. This has been a pleasure. If you are looking for moving services out in Texas, hit these guys up. I mean, they're just a fantastic moving company. I have a pleasure of watching Greg and the company grow, watching them on social media, and pushing the limits day in and day out about applying amazing customer service. And that all starts at the top. So thank you, Mr. Gregory, for coming on the show today. Everybody else, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. I mean, we're everywhere. Like it, subscribe. We need those likes and subscribe so that we know that we are giving out good content and that you guys want to keep listening to this. And give us some questions that you want to know more of. We want to know. And if you want to have Gregory back on the show, let us know too, because this was good. And I know we could have another full hour of talking everything deeper into a whole other level. So I appreciate you coming on the show. And for all those, stay Movified.
Let's go.
Thanks, buddy.